typical results, I wanted to talk through the trades from today just to give some background behind what I was thinking and how I was taking them. Today was really odd, which is why I wanted to do this video because I wanted to make sure that everybody understood the importance of, yet again, buying, puts on the resistance and buying calls on the support. And I've seen so many people have done it. A lot of people did it today, which is what encouraged me to do this video really quick because I was really impressed with the amount of people that saw massive returns on taking puts on the resistances today, which was perfect. So, I'm calling it resistance. I call it the call trigger or whatever, So I'm going to go through all 5 trades from today and how you could have executed on them. So I keep it in the 5-minute, and you see Disney is kind of like watching paint dry a little bit here. At the open, it actually opens down here, closes up here, and then it continues to rip. So ideally, you could have possibly taken calls here off of this put trigger, but honestly, I'm not a fan of taking many plays within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. I like to be really patient, so this is probably not something that I would have caught. However, taking puts off of this, like I said, watching paint dry, but eventually you got the breakdown here, which ended up failing and going all the way back down here to the bottom of this range would have been perfect. I heard of several people who took that trade, very, very happy with the way that turned out. And you can see this downtrend was very clear the entirety of the day. You can see, big down and then some sideways, big down, and then, this would have been another sideways, and then just you ideally, each time that you get a big detraction from that trend line is when you're scaling, right? That's when you get the extended moves. That's when you should be taking profit because you'll eventually see sideways action to the trend line, and then hopefully the fail unless it breaks out. So could have been a great trade on Disney. Was a little bit stressful at the beginning, but that was kind of the way that I would have taken it. I did not take Disney today though. PFE, the best way to take this, honestly, very similar chart to Disney here. So could have seen, these 2 candles supporting, take calls up here, which I did do. Didn't get the breakout here, but you could have easily seen these wicks coming above, boom, take the puts on resistance, and then all the way back down here, see this sort of call trigger, the put trigger retest almost. You'll see the support held yet again, comes back up above the low of these wicks. And you could have seen, boom, I'm going to take these at this close because, it didn't get down to low of day. Technically, we're making higher lows, and I'm pretty confident about this. Boom, you could have taken the calls here, and they ripped, all the way up to high of day. Couldn't end up making that big breakout that we really wanted, but still, if you missed this, there was opportunity here. There's also opportunity here. These levels are very versatile. Chewy, this one was a little bit choppy, kind of low volume today. If you did take the puts here on the breakdown, you could have made money, just typical breakdown. It was a super quick move, so it wasn't anything crazy. But again, same story here. Could have taken them on the rejection. So when you know that SPY, or you have a feeling that SPY is sort of going to be range bound, or you have a feeling that we might see some strong resistances, taking the puts is never a bad idea. As long as you're close to the level, you take them close to the level. That way your stop loss is just on the other side of it. So, say you see this 5-minute candle open and it opens below, take them. Maybe see if you can get a nice little pushback down below, because if you took calls, those would be invalid here. This was a pretty easy place to get faked out, but I believe it was a quick enough move to where it would have been hard to have gotten it. If you got in, you would have gotten faked out really, really quick. So I think the losses were hopefully minimal if you did take those. This one was one that I did play. Initially got faked out here on taking puts on the retest, but then did re-enter when we finally got back down below over here and got this nice knife here. For me, what I was thinking of, okay, it really hovered on this level. This proved to be a strong level throughout the entire day. So I was careful. I was knowing that this level was holding, but it was holding pretty strong as a support. So really needed to stay below it. And it took a long time to get there. Like I said, similar to Disney watching paint dry, but it eventually did and failed. And you can see it was a really nice trade. There were several people that I was talking to that took this trade, and it did end up working out quite well once it finally broke this. But again, did fake out plenty. Didn't come up to here, so there was no clear levels. This was probably one of the harder trades today, harder ones to execute. Like I said, I went 1 for 2 on this, so this one was a difficult one. Plug was probably one of the easiest ones, just from a perspective of playing the game plan. We get the 2 retests here, and you never get a confirmation above. So I would think that it would have been pretty hard to get faked out here, but it does push back up. It never gets back to the level. So maybe your puts would have been break even here, but then it's just quick, downtrend, down, 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 and that one I missed this one, but it provided a very solid opportunity pretty much all day. There was never even really a clear trend line. It was just kind of dumping all day. So next, what I want to do is I want to go into the watch list for tomorrow. So I really like these. First of all, I like NVIDIA because it's sort of in no man's land here, right? There's the volume profile is pretty much non-existent. It it could go down very easily. It could go up very easily. I mean, it's in a do or die type situation. And so I go to unusual whales, and what sticks out to me about this is the 300 calls, weekly. We also have the weekly 270, 260 puts. So I know everybody hates hearing, oh, well, it could go both ways. Well, it really can. I mean, why are the 300 calls at the top, right? Look, the top trades are all kind of mixed. I mean, yeah, they're selling and buying puts. There's probably spreads within there. But what I'm looking for is just where's the volume at? Okay, there's a lot of volume in NVIDIA right now, and people want it to go a certain way. And I know there's going to be volatility this week, and found some really clean levels that I like. So I think NVIDIA could be a great place. I would probably say 295 calls over this trigger, and then probably 270 puts underneath this. And you see those are, the 295s are up here, the 270s are here. I think they're just enough out of the money while also giving me great gains. So I'm very excited about that play. Additionally, I think Facebook is a great play. Again, super clean levels. Very, very happy with those. To me, it's important that I get clean levels, because if I can't get clean levels, then I'm just not going to play them. Needs to stick out to me. And you see a lot of these trades. A lot of the trades are bullish, the big trades. But what I notice is the 240s or the 340s are very attractive. Small spreads and then tons of volume, 26K in volume. And Facebook had an incredible push toward the end of the day. I mean, it closed down 75 cents. So Facebook has just been a weird stock. I mean, it's last week you could have pretty much played it every day, and you could have made tons of money. I know people who did. I mean, it provides unlimited scalp opportunity as well. So the volume in these contracts are great, puts and calls. So I'm very eager to play this one. I'd probably go with around 340s probably, or 342.5s, and then probably around 325 for puts, or maybe 327.5s, somewhere in that area. Now here's one that I don't usually have on my watch list, but this one has been brought to my attention several times about, you can really play this every day. I mean, AMC opened about minus 10% and ended up coming back and being green on the day, 5%. So that's just incredible. You can, if you can find good levels, you can really play this. You can play it either way, any day of the week, honestly. So when I make my levels, I tend to stay pretty conservative on AMC, just because I know that there's a tendency to get faked out due to it being a meme stock. And so I like the 27 calls a lot. I mean, they're honestly pretty cheap. the implied volatility is going to be crazy. I mean, you see just crazy amount of volume on all of this. I mean, of course, the 25s are at the money, but I would want to go a little bit out of the money, maybe either 26 or 25s over 25.35. And then under 23.30, I'm thinking either the 23s or the 22 puts. I'm a little bit more bullish on this play than bearish. I think we definitely see a push, but I'm totally fine with being wrong too. So, and then another one that we don't usually see, but had a really big presence on the hot chains and tickers page was Coca-Cola, and been hearing a lot of chatter about this one. And obviously, when Coke has a day like this where it gaps up from 56.30 to 57 and then continues to run, I liked seeing this consolidation. And you see the consumer staples have been really strong. And I like this consolidation day for a next leg up. It gave us some really clear levels at 58.08 and 57.55. And I think I'm probably going to go closer to at the money on these. So I think I said 58 calls for over the call trigger and 57 puts, but you could take another strike out of the money. And again, these go in 50-cent increments. So you can look, 58 calls, heavy volume, 57 fives. Right. And the spreads are very small, and I'm sure they'll be more narrow during the day. So tons of volume in these, very liquid contracts. So, and they're cheap. If you get a good move on this, if you get a 50-cent move on Coke, I mean, those contracts go 100%. So last but not least, haven't played BA in a while, but this is always one of my favorites, most smooth, very smooth trade. Over 197, I think this is very clean level. A lot of wicks came up here, but if we can finally get that break, I think it'd be great. And then I had to scroll back here to this range to get to the 193.90 area. And what really struck me was how the 200 calls for this week had an absurd amount of volume. I mean, 9,200 volume, and the next one was the 195 puts, which are at the money, right? So additionally, these puts got a lot of volume as well, 205s, 210s, but these 200s, which are still out of the money, I mean, it's not a guarantee by any means. I think that really, and with the significantly higher volume than even the two below it, tons of OI, I mean, just stuck out very, very clearly to me. I think BA could be a very strong play tomorrow and for the rest of the week. So what I just wanted to say to finalize everything, Jerome is going to be talking on Wednesday and Thursday. So make sure I personally will be staying pretty small size. I'm expecting possibly chop up to and during the speaking, and I'm sure there will be some volatility during the speaking. And then afterwards, I'm sure it'll just be a free for all. So I'm not going to risk any significant amount of my capital up to and during the events. But afterwards, I think we could have a fun set of events. Thank you again for watching, and hope everyone has a great end to the week.